going to be working with word art, charts, and tables specifically. We're going to start with a blank presentation. When you start a blank presentation, PowerPoint automatically gives you a title slide to start with. And if you're following along in the book, I am starting out on page 3-3. Once you've created your presentation, you're going to click on the Design tab because that's where the design templates are found. And they're asking you to apply the WISP theme. Under Themes, you should be able to find WISP without even clicking the Expand button because WISP is in the top row. So you're going to apply WISP. And then we're going to change the layout of the slide. In order to do that, if this designer panel opens up on the right side of your screen, you can just close it. Every time you mess with the design, it wants to make suggestions. Once we've applied WISP, oh, by the way, if you were not aware, if you move your mouse pointer over top of these designs, they will tell you their name. It's going to be over to the right. You see where I'm at up here? Can you see the screen at all? Yeah. There you go. Okay, next we're going to go back to the Home tab, and we're going to change the layout of the slide. On your Home tab, this is all the way to the left side, the slide section. We're going to go to Layout and change your layout to Title and Content. Title and Content. Now, there's a couple of things you need to that I want to point out on page 3.4, because they're telling you to delete a placeholder, and I want to show you two different editing modes. There are two different editing modes. One is to edit the text, the other is to edit the placeholder. So if I were to click inside the title, notice that the border around the outside is a dashed line. That tells me that I'm in text editing mode. If I click right on the border, that line should change to a solid line, and that is in a placeholder editing mode. So click on that line so that you get a solid line, and then you're going to press delete on your keyboard. Your delete key is right above the arrows on the right side of your keyboard. We're just going to get rid of that because we don't need it. Then we're going to save this presentation by going up to File, Save As. It's going to go to your OneDrive. Yes. You're going to put it in your OneDrive, and we're going to put this in your PowerPoint folder. Sophomores may save this to just to documents if you wish. This is going to be called Chapter 3 Tutorial. And its name is Sleep. Chapter 3 Tutorial Sleep. Okay, now I just want to go over, it's been a while since we've really done a tutorial in PowerPoint, so I want to go over the content placeholder. Remember, there's 9 different things that can go in this placeholder. One is where it says click to add text. So you can click to type text, but you've also got 4 icons right in the center to make it easy to add other objects to the slide, other content. Okay, so we've got stock images, we've got pictures, which would be pictures on your computer. We have icons, we've got smart art, 3D models, videos, tables, and charts. And today we are actually going to use the chart. Once you click on Insert Chart, we're going to change our category to pie. Once you change your category to pie, then you are going to click 3D as the type. I'm going to leave it right here for just a second because it looks like a couple people are getting caught up. What's that? Yeah. Do you see these little previews at the top? You want the second one over, which is the 3D pie. There you go. Yeah. Once you get that, we're going to go ahead and click OK. All right, now a couple of things. I would like all the side conversations that are not helping each other to stop, so I don't have to yell over top of you, please. When you insert a chart is made off of numbers, typically, percentages, dollar amounts, but typically numbers, which is the specialty of Microsoft Excel. So it should be no surprise that when you go to make a chart, you're actually going to be using a little snippet of Excel within PowerPoint. So the sample chart that we have on our screen is actually showing you the data that's in this little spreadsheet. Okay, if you see at the bottom, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, that is coming from column A. And these amounts, even though you don't see them, the red slice of pie is the biggest because it's 8.2. Second quarter is orange, and then the other two are almost the same size. So we're starting with placeholder data or default data, and we're going to update it with data that will represent what we want it to. Okay, so we're going to start out in cell B1. That is the cell that has, right now says sales. And so you can follow along in the book. We're now on page 3-7. Top of 3-7. In cell B1, we're going to type in 5 sleep stages. And it's a pretty good guess that this is probably going to end up as a title somewhere. So you're going to want to make sure that you capitalize each of those words, 5 sleep stages. And then we're going to label in column A, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and REM. These are all different stages of sleep, from stage 1 through stage 4, and then also REM sleep. Okay, then in column B, we're going to click on cell B2, which is has the amount 8.2. We're going to type 5, press your down arrow key, and in cell B3, we're going to type 50, press down arrow. In B4, we're going to type 5. In B5, we'll type 15, and then in B6, 25. Once you've got all of those numbers typed in, you can close the Excel spreadsheet. All right, we are now on page 3-8 and 9. All right. Spencer, you're going to have to wait now, okay? That's why I don't like people leaving class while I'm teaching. Okay, we're on page 3-8, resizing a chart. You're going to click the outside border of the chart. And notice that there are lots of things inside the chart. You can click to select just the chart itself. You can select the title. You can select the categories at the bottom. In this case, we want to select just the outer border of the chart. And we're going to do that to resize it. So once it's selected, you're going to go to Format. You're going to change the height to 6.5 and the width to 10.5. The height is 6.5. And this is in the book on page 3-9. You see where I am in the book? All right, once you've resized your chart, it should look something like this. It takes up most of the screen or most of the slide, and that's why we got rid of the title, because it's got its own title right here. All right, once you have that, keep that chart selected, and we're going to go on to the bottom of page 3-9, aligning a chart. You have to click the outside border of the chart. Then you're going to go up to Align. Oh, by the way, you have to be on the Format contextual menu, which is all the way on the right side. You'll go to Align, and then we're going to Align Center. And we're going to also go back and Align Middle. So that centers the chart both horizontally and vertically on the page. And before we go on, let's save it again. All right, next up, we're going to change your chart style. Of course, you have to have it selected. The paintbrush icon that's on the right side of the chart, if you can see it up on the screen, I'm talking about right here. These 3 buttons. Click the paintbrush to change the style. And we're going to choose the 5th style, style 5. You can move your mouse pointer over it, and it should say style 5. And once you've done that, you're just going to click off of that to hide the style gallery. Next up, we're going to click right in the center of the chart. When you click right in the center of the chart, it's selecting the chart itself instead of the border. And we're going to change the shape outline to dark red. So shape outline is up on your ribbon. You have to be on your Format tab to see it. You'll go to Shape Outline. And it's actually under Standard Colors, Dark Red. You should see that now. I'll zoom in on mine a little bit. Did you get it all figured out? Okay. It was dark red outline. Okay, while you still have that selected, we're going to make the outline a little bit thicker by going to Shape Outline. Same place we went to change the color, only this time we're going to go to the weight. The weight of the outline is going to be 2 1/4. Some other formatting is going to be done to the title and the legend. Does everyone know what the legend is? The legend is what is here at the bottom that says stage 1, stage 2, 3, 4, and aria and rim. That's the legend. So we're going to start with the chart title, which is 5 sleep stages. You'll click that, and this in the book is page 3-13. Once you select that text, that title, you're going to go to Home, and here's where we're going to change the font and the font size. They're going to have you first. You're going to use the increase font size button, and I think we did this in another chapter. I'm not positive, but if you look up on the screen, in the font section of the ribbon, you have a large A and a small a. The large A is to increase, small a is to decrease. We're going to click the large A until your font gets to size 32. Font size 32. Then we're going to change the font name to Rockwell. It's right now Century Gothic. You're going to select that and change it to Rockwell. And something I think I've pointed out before, but I'll say it again. When you go into fonts, if you start typing the name of the font, it will pop up on the list so you can select it. And Rockwell looks like this. You also can double check it with the picture on page 3-13. Then we're going to go down to the legend at the bottom of the, underneath the chart, and we're going to increase the font size to size 18 and change it to Rockwell as also. Now, once you have changed the title, you'll notice when you go over to change another title that you have a section now called recently used fonts, and you'll find Rockwell there close to the top. We're also going to make these bold. All right. If there's anybody that needs help to get caught up to where we are, raise your hand. Now would be the good time to ask. Okay, moving on. We are at the bottom of page 3-14. 3-14. First thing to do is to add a new slide. That's done on your Home tab. And we're going to create a new slide that is title and content layout. So click the arrow beside new slide and choose title and content. In the content placeholder, this time we're going to choose the table, which is the second row, third one from the left. When you select that, it gives you a dialog box where you can enter the columns and rows. We're going to have 2 columns and 5 rows in this table. 2 columns, 5 rows. backwards from what it is right now. 2 and 5. Then click OK. And that's going to fill up the space. On page 3.3-15, I'm not going to read all of this. You type it in what's in bold. And then over on page 3-16 is going to be the right column data. I'd say most if you fall into the 14 to 17 years, right? Are you getting 8 hours of sleep a night? Anybody? Yeah, that's all right. Next up is to create a table style or apply a table style. So you're going to click in the table somewhere. We need to be in the table design tab. And you've got tables, a whole table styles section right here. Remember that you also have the more button, which is the one with the arrow pointing down. And that shows you all of the different styles. That's your style gallery. I want to point out that there are categories, light, medium, and dark. And we are looking for medium style 1, accent 4. Medium style 1 is the first row under medium, and style 4, or accent 4, is going to be this lovely green. Medium style 1, accent 4. Does anybody need help finding accent 4? Okay, the next step, they're asking you to click on the edge of the table so the insertion point doesn't appear in any cell. Does anybody know why they're telling you to do that? If you do the next step, you apply borders with an insertion point in the table, it's only going to apply the border to the cell where your insertion point is, because that's the only thing you have selected. In order to apply a border style to the whole table, you have to click the border of the table and not see an insertion point anywhere in the table. So you've got the whole table selected. Then we're going to go up to borders. These borders, by the way, you're going to work with borders like this in Word, PowerPoint, Excel, even Access has borders. So when you go up to borders, it's the button that looks like a little window pane. We are going to choose all borders, which changes the border that was already there to a black border, because that's the default color for all borders. And while you still have that table selected, we're going to go back and add an effect to the table. This is in the same section. We've got borders, and directly under it is the effects, which you're going to click, and they're categorized into cell bevels, shadows, and reflections. This is going to be a shadow. And again, we've got another category. We've got no shadow, outer, inner, and perspective. We are going to choose perspective upper left. So go down to the perspective section. And the very first example here is perspective upper left. And you're going to see that little shadow pop up on the screen. This is kind of a nice design feature to add some interest, texture, to your presentation. Did anybody notice when we were typing that we skipped? We skipped something, didn't we? Well, I thought we went back and fixed this because we went from 0 to 3 months to 3 to 5 years. So what about 3 months to 2 years? They don't tell us anything about those guys. I guess they don't sleep. What? Okay, so next we're adding a table row. You're clicking in the last cell of the first column, which is 18 to 64 years. You're going to click there. And then you're going to go to your layout tab and choose insert below to insert another row in your table. The new age that we're adding here is going to be 65 plus. And they get 7 years. 7 years. 7 hours. You do not need to type out years. I don't think they don't in the book, so we'll just leave it. All right, next we're going to go over, we just already did, keep your insertion point in the minimum hours column, and now we're going to insert another row to the right. They're actually telling us that the minimum hours is what we just typed in, and now they're going to give us maximum hours. How can you have maximum hours on sleep? Did you know you can get too much sleep? What happens when you get too much? It makes you more tired. All right, so next step, we're going to make sure you've got your table selected. And we're going to resize your table by going to your table layout. And we're going to change your height to 4 inches. And your width to 6.5. Then we're going to click the border of that table again just to make sure we've got the whole table selected. And we're going to align this table center and then go back and align middle. No, wait, we do not align middle, just center. And then we're going to add a title to this slide, which is sleep requirements. Once you've done that, you're going to select that text and you're going to change the font to Rockwell. All right, the next step is going to show you how to add a text box to the slide. Anything you're adding to a slide, it's always going to be starting out by going to the Insert tab. So let's go to Insert. And then we're going to look for the text box button, which is a little bit more than halfway across the page in the text section. You'll click text box, and then you just have to go where you want to add it, which is going to be just under under the table. And what we're going to type in here is a citation. Our source of this information is the National Sleep Foundation. I can't even see it. You may have to resize that box to make that all fit on one line. I'm not sure how I ended up with that. All right. Then we're going to select that text. We're going to change the font size to 20 and the font to Rockwell. Now, they also tell you to use the smart guides to align the text. If you click on the border of the box and start dragging it, the smart guides are those red dashed lines that pop up. And when you get it aligned with the table, you're going to see it align, the dashed line extend from the bottom left side of the table. You can just release it right there. Did you have your hand up? All right. Next up is to reuse slides from another presentation. There's a couple of different ways you can insert new slides or new information into a PowerPoint presentation. One is if you have a Word document that is saved as a TXT file, you can import that into PowerPoint, and it will make new slides with that information. Also, if you want to use information from another presentation, you can use reuse slides feature. This is on your home tab. You're going to go to your reuse slides button. And click reuse slides. The panel is going to open up on the right side of the page. You're going to click browse. And I'm going to assume that we're going to go to Drive M, Student Data Files. Then find Microsoft PowerPoint, PowerPoint 3. I'll go through this again to make sure everybody finds it. Module 3 tutorial, and then support PowerPoint 3 reuse. That's going to show you in the right panel the slides in the presentation. Okay, we went to Drive M, Student Data Files, then Microsoft PowerPoint. Then we went to PowerPoint 3, Module 3 tutorial, and it's called Support PowerPoint 3 Reuse. Okay, here, once you have it open in the Reuse Slides pane on the right, you can choose to insert each individual slide, or you can tell it to insert all of them. We're going to click Insert All, and that's going to insert both of the slides that we see in this panel as slides 3 and 4. So once you've done that, you can go ahead and close the Reuse Slides panel on the right side of the page. All right, after inserting that, if your slides are both still black, like they were in the other presentation, we're going to go to the right side of the screen, and you should see a little box with like a clipboard on it, and you're going to click the arrow beside that, and we're going to tell it to use the destination theme. When you tell it to use the destination theme, it should now match the rest of the presentation. And they want us to move the slides in slide sorter view to rearrange them. This is on page 3-29, and slide sorter view is, if you look in your lower right hand corner, your views buttons, the one that looks like 4 little slides, like a window almost, is slide sorter. You can also get to it on your view menu, and you see all 4 slides, and you're just going to drag them to rearrange. You're going to drag slide 2. Hang on just a second. And you're going to make it match that picture. So you should have the picture of the computer all the way to the left, then 5 sleep stages, sleep requirements, and then control your exposure to light. Guys, we need to make one more move to the slides. We're going to click on slide number 4 and drag it over so that it becomes slide 2. So check the screen and make sure you've got the same order for slides. Then we're going to double click on slide 1. That's a quick way to get back to normal view. And we're actually going to delete the picture that's there because it doesn't really match our presentation anyway. You're just going to click it and hit delete. And we're going to insert a picture from Drive M by going to Insert, Picture, this device, and we're going back to the same folder where we just found the slides that we inserted. We'll go to Drive M, Student Data Files, then find Microsoft PowerPoint, PowerPoint 3, Module 3 Tutorial, and the picture is called Support PowerPoint 3 Bed. When this designer pane opens on the right, you can just close it, but keep your picture selected because we're going to resize it. The dimensions are shown over on page 3-31. It's going to be 7 inches high and a width of 11.23. If there's anybody that needs help, would you put your hand up, please? Guys, I got a few more steps I want to get through before we go to break here in a few minutes. So with your picture selected, we just resized it. Yes? It will, because we've got our ratio locked in order to make it. I'm just going to leave it locked because it's a picture and we don't want to distort it. So I would say leave it. So next you're going to click the crop button, which is just beside your dimensions for height and width. When you click the crop button, you're going to see handles pop up on each corner and in the middle of the top, bottom, and sides of the picture. Those crop handles allow you to resize the picture, and they don't give you exact dimensions. You're just going to kind of try to match the picture. You don't want to cut the lady's hand off, but get fairly close. Then on the right side, I believe we're going to crop it in just a little bit. We're going to crop the top off a little bit. We got a little too much up there. The reason you would want to do this is because you want the picture to be big, and we really have a lot of wasted space in the picture. So we're just getting rid of that. And then once you have it resized, you're going to click that crop button again to turn that feature off. And the next step is coloring the picture. With your picture selected, this is page 3-34. You're going to go to the left side of the screen on the picture format dialog box, and we're going to go to color. And notice you have color saturation, color tone, and recolor categories. Under color tone, we're going to select the option that's all the way to the left. It's referring to the temperature, which is 4,700. Then we're going to add an artistic effect. So you're going to go up to artistic effects. You can move your mouse pointer over top of the different effects just to see without actually applying it. If you move your mouse pointer over it, you'll get what's called a live preview, and it'll just show you what that picture would look like if you applied that style. And we're going to stop when we find crisscross etching. Crisscross etching. And then to change the picture softness, we're going to go to corrections. And the very first button all the way to the left is soften 50%. You're going to click that. And we're ready for a picture style. Picture style. This is page 3-37. Keep your picture selected. We're going to go over to your picture format dialog box, go to picture styles, And if you click the arrow to open the gallery of picture styles, we're going to look for the bevel perspective. It's okay to move your mouse pointer over those just to see what each one looks like. Bevel perspective on mine was not the 5th row, but and just 3 more minutes, 2 more minutes. We're going to finish this picture. With your picture still selected, you're going to go to the shape height box and you're going to change its height to 5.5. When you press enter, it's going to automatically adjust your width to match the height. Keep it in ratio. And then we're going to move it so that it is kind of in the middle of the slide. You should see the design guides pop up on the slide when you get it to the middle, and you'll just release it there. And then they want you to go to align and align it at the top of the slide. The reason they're having you do that is because we're going to add a word art underneath the picture, and we will do that after break. Okay, we're back on slide 1. And in the book, we're on page 3-40, creating and formatting word art. Word art, you probably already know, is formatted decorative text. It's formatted sort of as a graphic, and that is done to make it have contrast, to make it stand out, to add interest. And there's a couple of different ways that you can add word art. One would be to insert a word art onto a presentation. You also can take existing text and turn it into a word art. We are going to insert the word art. So you're going to go to your Insert tab. And then over in the text section, you should see word art with a blue A over top of it. You're going to click that, and you're going to see several styles there. These all have names. The book tells you it's gradient fill, olive green, accent color 4, outline, olive green, accent 4. That's a really long name. That's just because they are defining for you what the fill color is and also what the outline color is. But it is, if you look at the screen, the middle style in the 2nd row. And once you've inserted it, we're going to type the text, "Sleep well tonight." Now that we have text on our slide, we're going to make sure we have the border of it selected so that we're editing the whole text box or word art box and not just the text. And we're going to change the word art shape. We're going to go to the text effects button. Then you're going to go to transform all the way at the bottom. And take a minute to kind of scroll over. Don't click each one, but if you just kind of go over top of each one and let that live preview show you what that would look like applied. Each one has a name as you scroll over. We are looking for the name that is called wave down effect, and it's in the warp area. Wave down is a little more than halfway down in the warp section. And while you still have that selected, we're going to adjust the size, and we're going to start with the height, and we will type in 1.5 as the height, and the width is going to be 10. You can use the smart guides to position the word art. I'm not going to be measuring anything. I say put it underneath the picture. Center it underneath the picture as best you can. Your word art should not overlap any of the text. It should not be cut off of the slide. It should not be hidden under the picture. While you still have it there, we're going to adjust the 3D rotation. Give it a little 3D effect. This is page 3-43 in the book. This is going to be under text effects. So under text effects, you'll go to 3D rotation. And again, we have different categories: parallel, perspective, oblique. If you want to move over top of them so you can see what they look like, feel free to do that before we select. And we are selecting the one called perspective above. It is the first rotation in the second perspective row. All right, next we're going to change the fill color and the outline color of the word art. So with your word art selected, we're going to go up to the ribbon and still in the shape format panel, and we're going to go to text fill, and we're going to fill with olive green accent 5. This should be under the theme colors. Olive green accent 5 is the second little swatch from the right. Olive green accent 5. And then we're going to go to the text outline, and we're going to outline it with dark red. You can get to dark red by choosing it out of the theme colors. Dark red is also found in the standard colors all the way to the left. All right, let's go on to slide 2. Slide 2 has text on it already that says control your exposure to light. We are going to start by selecting that text. Okay, once you have your text selected, we're going up to the ribbon in the Word Art Styles section. Give me just a second, I lost my place. We're going to click the More button under Word Art Styles, and just take a second to move your mouse pointer over top of these so you can see what each of them look like. We are going to be choosing the Fill Dark Red Accent Color 1 Shadow. Should be the second thing in the first row. All right, in the next step, they're having you to resize the box by holding down the Shift key on the keyboard. And then on the right side of that text box, you're going to drag it in until exposure to light drops down to the second line, just like it shows on page 3-46. Animation would be a great place for you that are taking notes to write some things down. Animation is a little more involved, especially when you're changing direction, changing the sequence, changing the duration. There's a lot involved in animating objects. So we're still on slide 2. We still have the word art selected. We're going to go to your animations tab on your ribbon. And we're going to choose the animation that is called float. I'm sorry, it's called float in. Float in the animation gallery, and that will apply that to the text. As soon as you apply that, a couple of things happen. You should see a little preview of that text floating in, and also you see the number 1 beside it. The reason you see the number 1 beside it, that's telling you that this is the number 1 item that is animated on your page. If you animate other things, they will be numbered consecutively 2, 3, 4, and so on. But this one is number 1. Okay, as I mentioned, you can change direction of things, and we're going to do that now by going to Effect Options. And we're going to make that direction float down so that it comes in from the top of the slide. I want to point out that right now, if you look up at the right side of your ribbon, and we're still on the animation tab, if you look at the right side of the ribbon, where it says start, it says on click, which means that the person giving the presentation has to click with the mouse for that text to be animated. We want this to be animated automatically. So what we're going to do is go up where it says on click and change it to with previous. That means it's going to be animated with the previous animation. And to preview it, you're going to click the preview button, which is all the way on the left. We're also going to change the duration to make it take a little longer. If you previewed it, maybe preview it again so you can. Lynette Snyder, yes, thank you for calling. I forgot. I will send somebody right now. Okay, thanks. Bye. Raise your hand if you have Miss Sigmund in class right now. You have Miss Sigmund? What? You have Sigmund? The three of you? Oh, you do? You do? Okay. Anna, could I see the three of you? Hannah, Anna, Brianna. I need the three of you to go over to Miss Sigmund's to take pictures of the whatever it is she's having over there today. Oh, they were. Do you not want to go over? Huh? Okay. Just grab a camera, battery, SD card. She said they're starting right now. So, and she's going to have you stay for the whole thing. Okay. While we still have this, we're still on this slide. Make sure you click on control your exposure to light. So we're editing the correct thing. And we're going to change the duration from 1 second to 2. So you're going to click the up arrow 4 times to get to 2 seconds. And now when you preview it, you should see it move a little bit slower. Over on page 3.5, you're going to click in the bulleted text on this slide, slide 2. And then we're going to click on the fade effect. So that text will just fade in. We're going to change the duration to 2 seconds from 50 seconds. It was 50 seconds. I'm sorry, it was 0.5 second. We're going to make it 2 seconds, 2.00. And let's preview this text also. Okay, now I want to point out something here. If you look to the left of your bulleted text, you see that they're numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so if I were to show this presentation right now, my title comes in automatically and then it stops because it's waiting for me to click. If I click one time, I have one bulleted item come in. I have to click another time to get item number 2, then click a third time to get 3, and so on. Each one is entering the slide on mouse click. Okay, that's what we're going to change in the next step. We're going to select those again. Go. What's that? Look in that top drawer, top left drawer. All right, while you have those selected, we're going to go to Effect Options, and we're going to tell it to enter all at once. You guys should be looking at your screen. Okay, so now we have all 4 items labeled number 1. So if we preview again, it's going to start with the title. Then when I click, I'm going to get all 4 items together. Guys, I know you've been sitting for a while. I need you to bear with me. Please stay in PowerPoint. All right, we're still on slide 2, and we're going to be inserting a video in the right content placeholder. So in the right content placeholder, you're going to click on the insert video button, which is the second row, second button. This video, by the way, is in the same place as the pictures. We went to Drive M, student data files, Microsoft PowerPoint, then Chapter 3 tutorial, and it's the only video in the folder. And let's go ahead and play that to preview it. Really doesn't look like a whole lot. All right, we're going to resize the video with it selected. We're going to change the height to 3.3. You probably will have to move it a little bit to get it back onto the slide, because that kind of makes it extend off the edge of the slide. Sure. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Archie. Okay, they're wanting us to move this video with the smart guides. Notice when you kind of move it so that the top is over top of the text, you'll get a guide pop up, and go ahead and drop it there. Then we're going to adjust the brightness and contrast. You have to have it selected and go to corrections, and we're looking for brightness plus 40%, contrast plus 40% also. That is going to make it pretty bright. On the playback tab, you're going to set it to start automatically. And the next step is to add a transition between slides. It's really easy to get confused between the difference between transitions and animations. Animations apply to objects on a slide. Transitions apply to the effect between slides when you go from one to the other. So it doesn't matter which slide you have selected when we apply this transition, because we will end up applying it to all slides in the presentation. So we're going to go to the Transitions tab. And we're looking for a transition called Ripple. Notice that your transitions also have categories: subtle, exciting, and dynamic. Ripple is found in exciting, all the way over to the right side. And you'll see why they call it Ripple. It looks just like a ripple. And then we're going to change the duration. By default, it's set at 1.40 seconds. We'll click the up arrow until that becomes 3 seconds. And we're going to click Apply to All. All right. Let's all preview. I prefer going to the bottom of the screen and click Slideshow in your view buttons on the lower right-hand corner so that you're previewing your presentation full screen. When we get to slide 2, we should see our title goes automatically. I thought the video was going to play automatically. Oh, it animates at the same time as the text when you click. And then you don't have to watch the whole video. You can go on to slide 3. And slide 4. And it always ends with a black slide. Okay, next step. We are almost done. The next step is going to be to insert go to Insert Header and Footer. We're going to go to Notes and Handouts. and put your name in the footer. You're also going to type in Chapter 3 tutorial and the word sleep. We're also going to check mark the date and time and leave it to update automatically. Then you will apply to all. All right, next we're going to go to File, Print. This is going to get printed as handouts with 2 slides per page. Instead of full page slide, it's going to be handouts, 2 slides per page, and we're going to leave it in full color. That doesn't look like full color. Guys, I have found that it's a lot easier to use Microsoft Print to PDF because then you can do it without being signed into Adobe. But you're welcome to use either Adobe PDF or Microsoft Print to PDF if they're both working fine for you. So make sure you've got 2 slides per page, handouts, 2 slides per page. We've got it in full color. You're going to save that in your PowerPoint folder as Chapter 3 tutorial. Sleep. Yes. How did I what? As a PDF. When you go to print, change your printer. When you go up here under printers, you should see a Adobe PDF or a Microsoft Print to PDF under printers. You do have that selected? Okay, that should work. Then under slides, we selected 2 slides, handouts, 2 slides. Okay, hang on just a second and I'll come and look at it. Guys, after you have that saved, when you go to Schoology, let me show you what I want you to print. Or what I want you to submit. You should have 2 things that are titled Chapter 3 Tutorial Sleep. One is the PDF. The other is the PPTX. That is the PowerPoint file. PPTX is the part that I will use to grade your transitions. If you don't submit the PPTX file, you get a 0 for the transitions and animations. So it is important that you submit both.